What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 87, and we're starting Days of Stuff on the back of our 3-0 drubbing at Old Trafford against Manchester United. One of my worst performances as Chelsea manager, no doubt about that. And so funny as well, we've lost 2 times this season. They've both come against Manchester United, both home and away. The other teams in the league might not have figured out the players against us yet, but Erik ten Hag certainly has. Even so, for the first game of today's episode, Spurs away in North London at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I've mentioned so many times, this ground is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the amount of money they spent on the ground, don't get me wrong, it was astronomical, but when you think about the facilities and the look of the ground as well, it's phenomenal. It really is fantastic, and no doubt about it, White Hart Lane was a pretty iconic ground, but I think the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has potential to be just as good in terms of iconicness. Is that a word? I'm not too sure. Even so, taking one day away from home on the back of loss at Old Trafford, aiming for a response. Now, we're still top, and we have an 8-point lead on Liverpool and now Manchester City as well. But heading into the game, 18 minutes in, we fell behind. Alphonso Anibal, the animal, I'm going to call him, makes it 1-0, and more on him later. And 36 minutes in, still down by a goal, looking for our leveller. We would get it. Kai Havertz running through one-on-one, and it's crazy to think last season, I know he had a 2-month injury and was out for a while, but he didn't actually score that many goals. Halfway through this season, he's already got more than he had in the entire campaign last year. He fires in our leveller, makes it 1-0. The momentum really changed towards the end of the first half. We had a great chance to go in front for the first time in the game as well, right before the break. Such a smart bit of play by Kefren Turan. I looped the ball up in the air for him, and he controls it, uses his body to shield off Dayot Upamecano, who rashly lunges in, and it's a definite spot kick, no doubt about that. Conte wondering why his centre-half decided to just go and clatter into Kefren like that. Definite spot kick, and the chance for us to get in front. So Lautaro Martinez, our top scorer, with the chance to put us back in front of the first time in the game, a minute before the break, and a big psychological boost. You know me, I'm not very good at penalties, which is why I wasn't surprised this was an absolutely atrocious effort. It's the perfect height for a goalkeeper to save it, right in the mid-drift, and whilst Lloris does have to use his trailing arm, there wasn't much power behind it. It wasn't right towards the post. That is a god-awful penalty. I would be better Panenkering that one, honestly, man. That was terrible. I'm just so bad at penalties now, you know, I really am. And I must say, as we head this ball over from the corner there through Mason Mount, I do prefer the penalty system being this way. A few years ago, EA totally changed it, where back in the day it was just left, right and down the middle, and based on the amount of power you would put on it, that's all that really mattered. Most of the time they would always hit the target, but now of course you have the circle, the radius if you will, for where the ball is going to fall, somewhere in that radius, and the more controlled you are when holding the left stick for where you're angling the penalty, determines on how the radius will sort of keep its shape if you will, and of course the more power you put on with the shot button, of course it's circle for PlayStation, will determine how big the radius is going to be as well. So it will start to expand the more you hold down the shot button, of course, but as well the radius will start to get a little bit erratic if you will, if you're not controlling the left stick very well. It's quite realistic, I would say. It sort of represents composure if you will, and I do really like it. It's just that for people like me, and I'm sure there are a few of you out there as well that have got major anxiety, it's really, really hard to keep that left stick held firmly and not waggle it just a little bit because the nerves get the better of you, know. But I do like it, I really do. It does make it harder for people like me. If you've got a lot more composure, you're probably fine. But for people like me, it's hard. It's really, really hard not to get taken back by the pressure. Regardless, once again, Spurs at lead in the second half. Lo Celso with the goal. It was an amazing back heel by Anibal the Animal once again, but we did get ourselves our leveller through Marcus Thuram in the second half for a 2-2 draw. Probably should have won the game really with the chance we had, plus the spot kick too, but in the end, I'll settle for the point. Means we don't have back-to-back losses for the first time all season long. I guess I'll take it, battling back from a goal down on 2 separate occasions. But you see the league table there on the back of dropping points again. 1 point picked up from possible 6. And speaking of number 6, Liverpool and Manchester City cut the gap to 6 as well. Yep, this title race is far from over. But here he is, Alphonso Anibal. If you read the title, then you knew who he was going to be the regen of. Oh my god. He's 19, guys. He's 19. He's still a kid. He's still a teenager. Look at this. 96 sprint speed, 95 acceleration, 89 strength. Jumping strength, acceleration, and sprint speed are his top stats at 6'2". This guy is a physical beast. Absolutely incredible. I want to show you this as well. Liverpool put a bit for Tomori here and included this new gen as well. Umberto Lombardo, amazing name. I think it's probably Chiellini's regen. 85 rated, 22 years old. Funnily enough, Liverpool signed him in this window from Newcastle. I was going to sign him myself, but they beat me to it. That's so funny. But even so, Ronaldo's regen just looks absolutely phenomenal. Obviously when Ronaldo and Messi retire, you always look out for their regens. And of course, they'll pop up normally at a random club in the league that they retired in. So for Messi's case, his regen will most likely start somewhere in France, or if not in the free agents pool. And for Ronaldo, it'll be in the Premier League somewhere, or again in the free agents pool. He's at Spurs in this save, and already 85 overall with those stats at 19. There's no doubt about it, man. This guy has, without a shadow of a doubt, the potential to be special, as it says, and the chance to get into the high 90s overall. He's unbelievable, man. And obviously, we see the Ronaldo regens, the Messi regens, the Zlatan regens, year after year in career mode saves. You'd always see them if you play a few seasons in. And you always wonder, just how good they're going to be compared to the players they're modelled on, if you will, the real players they're modelled on. This guy looks like he could be just as good as Ronaldo in just a couple of years' time. Anyway, second game of today's episode, and I was pretty nervous heading into this one. We were back at the bridge, West London, taking on the Cherries, Scott Parker's Bournemouth, who are still in the Championship in the game, but right now in a playoff place and aiming for promotion to the Premier League for the first time in the save. And I played absolutely awful in this game. Now, I really can't tell you why I was playing so bad. I don't really know. I was just absolutely all over the place. And I'm not going to make any excuses whatsoever. It was one of those games where you'll have them like I do. Your players feel stuck in the mud. But I just didn't create anything. Bournemouth had a deserved lead in the first half. It could have been 2 goals up had it not been for an incredible save early on by Nick Pope. And I took an absolute age to get chances in this game. 81 minutes in, I couldn't break Bournemouth down. My players weren't making good runs. It was a really lethargic, laboured performance with a super strong Chelsea lineup out there as well. And with a minute and a half to go, facing the prospect of going out in the FA Cup in the 4th round at home to a Championship side, Billy Gilmour robs his man, and Tammy Abraham down left-hand side, tripped up on the line, but a spot kick. Penalty for Chelsea in stoppage time. Won by Tammy Abraham in for Lautaro Martinez, and a chance to save my blushes and save our chance of retaining the FA Cup we won last year. Abraham wins it, so Abraham's going to take it. I just missed with Lautaro Martinez in the very last game, but I decided to go for the same side. Hello. The celebrations say it all. Oh, the relief, the relief. Abraham sends his man the wrong way and scores the goal that ensures our progress in the cup remains hanging by a thread. Yeah, we're heading back to the Vitality for a replay. Not what we need, but honestly, man, I was atrocious in this game. Absolutely awful. We might have had more shots, but the XG was very similar. I think Bournemouth probably could have snuck away with a win and almost did. In the end, I think a replay and a draw, probably the right result, but I was absolutely atrocious in that game. And I have to say as well, in a weird way, I kind of liked it as well, because, this season, I wouldn't necessarily say we've been dominating, and I certainly won't say it now, with no wins in our last 3 games, and almost getting knocked out at home in the FA Cup 4th round by a Championship side, but there have been parts of this season where I've just been totally in control, and again, I wouldn't use the word dominating, but I've really been blitzing my opponents, winning games with big scorelines. Think of the 6-0 win over Watford and the 7-1 win at Molineux, for example. Yeah, in a weird way, and I always say it, every single season when you do a career mode save, you'll have a bad patch of form. I'm kind of happy it's happening now, to be honest, because it's allowing other teams to really show that we're human, we can get beaten. and we are starting to struggle a little bit, and the pressure is beginning to get to me, but I like it. I really do. Makes it more realistic, challenging, and immersive. It's all the reasons why I love this FIFA, and I love this save as well. So for our final game of today's episode, midweek, Wolves away, Molineux. Last time we were here, just briefly mentioned it, 7-1 victory in the Premier League, but now second leg of the EFL Cup semi-final, and we held a 4-0 lead heading into this leg after our demolition job at Stamford Bridge. But after no wins in our last 3 games, Wolves were thinking, if there was ever a time to face Chelsea, it's now. Put them under a bit of early pressure and you just never know. And after Pope made a good early save, 16 minutes in, Arthur Cabral gives Wolves the lead after a KDB cutback. And I'm sitting there thinking, if we only just got away at home to a Championship side Bournemouth, this could be the biggest collapse of all time. So I thought, you know what, I've got to pick myself up, weather the early storm and get ourselves a leveller. And as N'Golo Kante feeds through, Billy Gilmore, Billy the Kid, puts us back on level terms and says, don't worry about it, Gaffer. I know we're playing poorly, but we got this. There's no way we're going to bottle a 4-0 lead in the first leg. Yep, Billy Gilmore's first of this season, and real relief there, because once Wolves got the first goal so early on, and I was thinking, okay, if they get momentum and a bit between their teeth, they get a second and third goal before the break, I'm going to panic like crazy, but instead, right before half-time, the Thuram brothers link up for the goal to flip the script, turn the game on its head, and give us the lead for the first time on the night. Yep, you love to see it. Struggling patch of form for Chelsea, but the Thuram bros coming up in the first half. Lovely through ball by Kefren. Great little touch by Marcus Thuram. His second goal in 3 games, and it's 2-1 Chelsea. So in front for the first time on the night. We now had a 6-1 lead over aggregate, and whilst, you know, I have been playing pretty poorly lately, I've got to be honest guys, I didn't think I was going to blow and choke that massive lead. Whilst Wolves would once again get themselves another goal, Arthur Cabral at the double, and once again another assist for KDB as well. Wolves managed to get back on level terms on the night, but because of the deficit on aggregate, I knew for sure it was going to be nothing other than a consolation goal. We had a chance to restore the lead here as well, 66 minutes in. Billy Gilmore going up for an aerial duel after Thuram's shot was blocked. Unfortunately, you'll see Gilmore did stay down during that aerial collision as well, so another injury, but again, I kind of like to see it. But whilst we couldn't go on to find our first win, and it's now none in 4 games, I guess I'll take the draw. It's not another defeat, and it didn't matter either way. We are through to the EFL Cup final. My first appearance in the EFL Cup final since Season 2, and I'm very pleased to see it as well, because quite frankly, it's the only domestic honour I haven't won yet. I'd really like to win it at some point in this save, and of course, keep our quadruple dreams alive. One thing's for sure though, keep this sort of form up, we'll have no chance of winning 3 trophies, let alone 4. In the Premier League, the gap is cut to 6 points by both Liverpool and Manchester City. Even West Ham, 9 points behind, aren't going to give up the ghost. And after a really tough patch of form, Chelsea beginning to struggle. I've got to say, a week to go before the window slams shut, I think I might have to make a little bit of a transfer decision, sale, signing, I don't know. We'll have to think about it. Have a great day, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode very soon.